We don't run from the truth. We don't fake the healing. We heal it. It's a revolution now, and you're invited. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Heal that shit, don't hold it in. Rip the Band-Aid, let it begin. Truth gets loud when you stop the lie. We cry, we rise and testify. Life unfiltered, scars and all. Break that cycle, tear down the wall. Accountable, raw, and full of light. We healing out loud and we doing it right. Heal that shit, don't hold it in.
Jesus is my captain, I shall not be moved.
Yes,
Hey,
indeed.
which
Glory.
Jesus are these people really talking about? Who they talking
Yo.
to? Because, baby, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, born in the manger to the Mother Mary. Which Jesus y'all dealing with out here? You got to ask more questions.
I've really been struggling with that. I've really been struggling with the concept and the notion that people are saying that people are a quote unquote man of God, woman of God, person of God, but the way that they represent and show up is really not indicative of God's love in the teachings.
At all.
And it's very interesting to me how Christianity has been weaponized so much so. And now there is a war with Christianity and white nationalists. And there are some Black pastors that I've noticed that I feel like following the money is just going to be the concept and the theme here. But if you follow the money on some of these mega churches, the messaging is much different than the smaller boutique churches.
I want to show you something. Keep talking, though. I got to remember where it was at. Go ahead.
Then these smaller boutique churches that are talking about the things and are really out here mobilizing and moving people. But the fact that these folks are literally weaponizing Jesus and Christianity and then wonder why there's a low enrollment of people attending church and being a part. It's just like, what do you expect? But then also moving forward, who's gonna have a conversation about what's God's love or not? Because I don't think that the conversation is gonna get any better. I feel like this is gonna progressively become more polarized.
It is. It most definitely is. And that's why I be talking about we have to know God for ourselves. Like the whole point of the work that I do is because people have convoluted and bastardized Christianity. What if the thing you've always called too much was the exact thing God designed on purpose? This is for the ones who've always known they were different. Too sensitive, too loud, too knowing, too intuitive, too woo-woo. But what if your sensitivity is actually your superpower? What if your intuition was your inheritance? Discover Your Destiny is a 10-week sacred journey back to yourself. We explore the design of your soul, your spiritual gifts, and the unique way that God speaks to you. This isn't church. It's not a rule book. It's not a performance. It's the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking in divine alignment. You'll gain clarity, language, and confidence around who you are and what you are here on the earth to do. You'll learn the real voice of God. And if you feel called to go on to become a certified intuitive melanated life coach, this is where that path begins. There are 2 ways to enter this sacred container: the Destiny track, full investments and coaching experience, or the Divine Exchange track, where internship meets soul work. You'll support podcasting, content creation, or brand development behind the scenes, while learning how your unique gifts benefit the collective. Your knowing isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprints of God. This is your invitation, and I hope that you'll answer. So this video is 8 minutes, and I don't want to show you the whole thing, but I do want, because when you just mentioned about the differences in the messages that are being shared at mega churches versus little churches, I feel like this is so indicative of what's happening, and I've seen this with my own eyeballs. So hold on. Where we at? Okay, here we go. Hold on. Got to get down. This is over there on the TikTok. So I had shared on my page, on my Facebook page, maybe a couple weeks ago now, maybe. And I was like, I'm confusion, because who is this God? I mean, it's Jesus that y'all claim to be serving, because it's not Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the Jesus who wrote the Beatitudes and such. Like, that's not the Jesus that we're talking about here. Who is y'all talking about? And so somebody had commented on there, and she was like, this video has helped her to make some things make sense. So hold on. Okay.
Well, I'm about to spill the tea all over the place, and I'm going to make some folks flaming mad for revealing the not-so-well-kept secret. But fact is, a lot of pastors do know, but money and job security talks. Because a lot of times, tradition is weighed more heavily than truth in non-denominational and evangelical circles. But there's another reason that's newer, and some people are going to come after me with pitchforks and torches with the reveal on this one, but you know what? Flame on, baby. So like I said, when a future pastor attends an accredited seminary, their first preaching course tells them, use exegesis, stay away from eisegesis, meaning draw out the original meaning of the biblical text. It asks who wrote this, who were they writing to, what did the original languages actually say, and contextually what was happening culturally and historically at the time, and what was the author's intended message. And the beauty of exegesis is that it's not supposed to depend on tradition, and understandings can change over time. You know, churches have used scripture to defend slavery, racism, sexism, war, but as we study the context, the language, the history, as we learn more about the culture, as we honor the text instead of twisting it, these older interpretations begin to crack because our understanding of the text changes. The text doesn't really change, but our understanding does. Exegesis doesn't start with, what does this mean to me? It starts with, what did this mean to them? And only then can we go, what does it mean to me now in light of this? Eisegesis, on the other hand, you are told not to use in seminary. It means reading into the text. You bring your own ideas, assumptions, tradition, and worldview, and force the Bible to say what you already believe. And most pastors are taught to know better, but abandon exegesis pretty quickly when they get into the real church world, because eisegesis is easier, it's faster, and maybe most important, eisegesis leans more into tradition. How has this verse been taught traditionally? Because I don't want to rock the boat. Because let me tell you, new pastors that rock the boat, they don't usually last long. They don't want to lose their income by challenging beliefs based more on tradition than actual scripture and context. They don't want to upset the folks that write the big checks, and they don't want to upset the elders of the church who usually want to keep things as they were instead of forging into new understanding. But there's a newer reason that pastors are using eisegesis more, and it's really gross, and it's made things worse. And that is, loads of pastors nowadays don't write their sermons anymore. Instead, they use market-tested, downloadable sermons specifically designed to build church attendance, increase volunteerism and giving, and it's a whole industry. These are websites that sell pre-written sermon series crafted by professional marketers, social psychologists, and design teams. And most of these are tied to media consulting firms that specialize in church expansion. And other pastors are part of a broader franchise-style church system, and that's a whole different beast. And this is the quick hit version on how these guys work. Most of these organizations were founded by a charismatic leader who built a successful church and with a group of consultants have market tested this branding across other churches, usually starting with a campus across town headed by a team from the original church serving underneath the original pastors. And another campus will come and then another team. And the goal is to have 3 or 4 churches of various sizes, large to small, so they can market test different aspects of their programs in different areas. And once these models are established, the head church begins to franchise out by offering its successful model to new or struggling churches. But these churches are in particular markets and they are vetted for profitability. But once on board, the head church installs their model on these churches in return for a significant portion of tithes, event backing, advertising, etc. for X amount of years. And NDAs are signed, keeping things hush-hush. In return, the church that comes on board is given leadership advisement, a marketing program with connect cards, interactive web presences, funds for attraction events like carnival type setups to bring people off the street, yada yada. And most importantly, pre-written sermons. But we'll get to that. The worship team gets an upgrade too, going for a certain look. Song choices will shift to popular songs, and often the worship songs aren't even chosen at the individual churches anymore. They're chosen by the main church's leadership to match with the current sermon series that's going throughout the franchise. And here we go. So in these systems, sermons are taken out of the pastor's hands and are coordinated by the head church, and they're packed with market-tested material and engaging graphics and themes designed to boost volunteering and giving and attract new members. And they're positioned in a certain order to maximize results. And I'm happy to do a video series on that. Just let me know in the comments. And these sermons are fill-in-the-blank type dealios, where individual pastors fill in personal anecdotes or stories to make the sermon look like it's theirs or for their community. But there's no exegesis here. There's no deep teachings. Sermons are very safe, very vanilla, and more than anything, they're designed to engage attendees into a CTA, aka volunteering, because increases in volunteerism equals more attendance and more giving for the church. And these sermons follow a pattern designed to maximize profit. Like I said, I can do a whole series on this, because when I show that pattern to you, your jaw will hit the floor, especially if you're now attending one of these types of churches, because it's a giant sales funnel. Pre-written, pre-designed, market tested. And these scripts are not created to explore scripture, okay? It's not about careful biblical interpretation, theological insight, or spiritual maturity. Instead, these sermons rely on cookie cutter explanations and simplistic interpretations that support a predetermined business model. They provide safe, predictable content designed to produce specific, measurable outcomes: increased attendance, heightened volunteering, and boosted giving. This is not exegesis. It's a market.
So I'll pause there. There's still about 3 minutes left, but when I
Send me the link to that.
Okay. Where you want me to send it at?
On TikTok.
Okay. How do I forward?
Or if it's easier to forward it on WhatsApp.
I'm going to put the link into WhatsApp just because that's easier. I don't want to take a whole bunch of time to figure that out. But so yeah, when they sent that to me, somebody had put it in the comments on my Facebook post, and I was like, I've seen this. Like, I know that this is a thing, and it's the model, that's used every time those churches open a new campus and like all of that. That's them taking over another church and offering this service. So it's like really pervasive, and I found out about it like in my era of let me go see what white church is like, because black church, I've had enough. So let me go see what's happening in white church. And then that's what I found over there at the white church, that's what they're doing. Right. So it's like the system of religion is so perverted and distorted and manipulative. And it is why, to your question of like, what do people do? You have to understand who God is for yourself. You have to understand the Bible for yourself. You have to take it upon yourself to open those pathways so that you are able to hear directly from God. And then you ask for the signs, and then you have your Bible to be able to read that. Like, but this Christianity, the concept of Christianity and church and religion is only going to get more predatory. And because it's one of the main ways that you control people. It's one of the main pathways of controlling people. So even all of those people, for instance, that didn't know about Charlie Kirk and didn't know what was happening, there were pastors who brought him into the room as we should empathize. We should, and it's two ways. They're either aligning with his ideology and, being like, this was a Christian man and he'd had Christian beliefs and like all that kind of stuff. Or they're kind of saying his ideology wasn't A-okay, but as Christians, we're called to turn the other cheek and pray for our brother and, to be empathetic and, to just pray. And it's like, now it's not the time. Now is not the time to just pray. That's not what we're doing right now. Like, now is the time of action. Faith without works is dead. It's time to get to work. It is not time to just sit there and praying. And a lot of the time, prayer is us talking to God, when prayer should be you listening to what God is telling you to do. God don't need to hear you sitting up there talking and, oh, Lord, whatever you're saying. Listen to the instructions that God is giving you about what to do. That's not what's being told. So it's just like, oh, you just need to, go up and pray for 12 hours. We having 12-hour prayer vigils and carrying on 24-hour prayer vigils where we just bombarding the heavens, but ain't nobody shut up to listen to what the hell God is saying in return. So it's like, it's such an interesting time because, and so people like myself, I've talked about many times how that last pastor at that last Black church that I was at told me I was going to be in the wilderness because I told her that I was going into entertainment and such. They be wanting me to be in the wilderness. She out here talking against church and talking against God, and now she not talking about empathy and all that kind of stuff. That's why today I was like, let me talk to y'all about Jesus and who Jesus actually was. Because Jesus believed in righteous anger. Jesus consistently talked out against laws and traditions and the Pharisees and the Sadducees and people that are trying to manipulate the most humble of them, those who are most at need. Like, Jesus always talked about that. So if that's not what's on the tip of your tongue, you're not talking about God. You're not talking about Jesus Christ. I don't know who you talking about, but that's not who you're talking about. So this concept of Christianity, I really do feel like is imploding. And it really, one, we got to ask more questions when somebody says that they're a Christian or a believer, a disciple, whatever language that they use around it. What that look like, who that sound like, because I could tell you, starts off, if your Jesus is white, we ain't aligned. We can start there. So we got to ask better questions. But the other thing is we got to know for ourselves. Like, we've got to get ourselves in position to open that pathway because God is talking to us all the time, not for us to be talking to God. All right, I'm done. Sorry, I get real passionate about
that. Yes, indeed. No, it's something to be passionate about because there are people that are seeking to hear from God and to have a relationship with God. And there are folks out here that are being very predatory to see the different curriculum. Example, for Bible study, our Bible study has a curriculum that's already set up. There's videos that are already done. Tony Evans is the person who does the recording of most of those videos. And they have questions, and we have the conversations related on what's in front. And I've seen it. So to the healing work of it all, of like just dedicating some time to like really have conversations with folks about the intersectionality of faith, healing, and church hurt, right? Because there's so many people that walk into spaces of churches looking to find a home in a safe space, and then it turns out to be another place that they got to heal from.
Yep. I've experienced it many times over. I've been in church leadership, and I know in both small churches and in mega churches. So I know the type of language that is used around creating this assimilation into the quote unquote kingdom. And then when somebody doesn't accelerate fast enough, line up, like whatever, the way that they will act like they never even knew you. That's why I be saying all the time, churches are gangs. Churches are gangs, and they are not supposed to be. And that's how I know that God ain't up in there, because God is not a gang leader. You know, like all of the different ways that God has made himself, herself, themselves, God has made accessibility possible through all of these different avenues that you have to be able to have a relationship with God. Like, and then in a Christian church, like that's one of the biggest things for me now at this point, is the exclusivity and the leaving out of those who don't line up with whatever you say that this should look like. Then when you look at the way that Christianity is so patriarchal and like just so harmful towards women, you know, with the prayer clause and, you know, cause don't show your shoulders, and like all of this stuff is about controlling women because men don't have control over their lustful desires. That is also not of God. You know what I mean? Like, it is so multifaceted and so deeply embedded in the system of religion. So the moment that you really start dissecting and unpacking how religion has made this pervasive blueprint and imprint on your life, you see there's so much unlearning. There is so much unlearning to do. And once you, the scary part about it is, once you get on this learning journey, then you have somebody that you once respected, that was once a spiritual leader, that was once somebody that you entrusted your soul to, telling you things like, you in the wilderness. When in actuality, you are finding the fullness of God and understanding the depth of which God loves us and the way that God shows up for us and the way that God is always talking to us. But you have somebody that you entrusted your life to telling you that, no, that's not actually God, because they want you to exist in this box where they have the ability to control you. It's a lie. It's a lie. And all of that is on display right now in various ways and on various levels. And there's just so much to process because it's just coming from so many different sides.
Yep. It's gaslighting. That's what it feels like. It feels like gaslighting.
And a whole bunch of other things too. That's only a part of it. It's all kind of stuff that's piled up in there. It's probably 7 or 8 different DSM things on there. But also, that's the other thing, is the level of perversion that exists in the church. The level of sexual perversion that exists in the church. The level of sexual predation, if you will, that exists in the church. In the church. The place that people are coming to try to get their soul healed, to try to understand who God is. And that's the place that people come and they are like, throw it away. Throw it away. All of it. So for people to now be losing their jobs because they're speaking out against the system that is represented by this person that was just full of hatred and cares nothing about God, like it's a wild time. right now. You want to talk about last days and such. Like, it's a wild time right now. But as much as we know this and as passionate as we are, there are just as many more people who don't know. And that is the scary part, is they don't know. So in cults and things like that, the first thing they do is they insulate you, baby. You can't hear no other forces. Everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is out there doing whatever. Da da da. Like, they make up stories. Like, it is so pervasive, and it is so hard to get out of.
I just I I I've been glitching every time conversations of religion and Jesus and Christianity comes up, to the point where, like, physically fatigued, because it is a major gaslight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a major gaslight. Like, it is not okay. And I am not okay with it. And the fact that folks can't even show up on their social spaces with the folks that they've curated or have made it public to the world, and can't even demonstrate their free speech without being
Your
targeted.
your girl Pam Bondi said there's free speech and there's hate speech. Aren't you, how you feel about good old Pam? She done made it to the big house, huh?
And that is even something that needs to be talked about, because she was unfit because of the things that she was doing prior to. And if we go talk about it, like how they not talking about these Epstein files, she was right there in the state of Florida covering this mess when the stuff was popping off and going on. So I'm like, define hate speech, because you got people that literally quoted the man. All they did was quote the man. And it's so much about that man. And the same day, kids were gunned down at a school.
They ain't
Ain't
said
no
nothing about the
media
children.
time.
I don't
Ain't
even hardly
no
barely know
media
what
time.
happened.
They gonna keep replaying this over and over and over again, just like they did George Floyd, and they show his body over and over again. And you know what ended up happening after that? Chaos erupted. People was tired of seeing it on the TV. People were tired of having the conversations, and things just got out of control. And with the way that the media is playing into this, we're going to see the exact same pattern, because we're having the exact same type of banter and hate and back and forth and finger pointing and all of that. Because I'm just trying to figure out how the Republicans got the White House, they got the House, and they got the Senate, and they in control federally. And somehow it's the Democrats, the leftists, the radical left. Somehow is they fault in the situation. The government is about to shut down at the end of the month.
Of course, always.
And it's going to be the folks on the left.
Of course, always.
State of Florida. They got the governor's mansion, they got the House, and they got the Senate. Folks can barely pay their car insurance, property insurance, and all other things. And it's the Democrats' fault that they can't get things done. How? And you got people that will just sit there and recite these talking points with no receipts. That's the wildest part for me.
They don't demand receipts, though. You know what I mean? Like, the way that the media media has always been compromised, but the way that it is just so blatantly compromised now, all you got to do is just say something over and over again. They're not pushing you to have receipts. They're not pressing to have facts and evidence. It's just like you could just keep saying whatever you want to say. And the more that you say it, the more that people believe it, whether it's true or it's not. And then again, when you look at, I haven't watched a White House press briefing in a minute because I can only take so much. But I'm certain that the spinning that they're doing from that podium, child, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. So they're counting on people receiving their news in either a watered down way or ways that are just spewing straight up propaganda. Like, it is wild to wrap your mind around the level of propaganda that is happening. Once you really start to understand that nothing they are saying is the truth, it's and the whole time we have been conditioned to believe that's something Russia does, that's something China does, that's something that, our enemies do, propaganda. Baby, the US is the best fucking propaganda machine that there has ever been. And the way that they use the education system to condition us to believe that the country gave any cares about us or any cares about children or any cares about democracy or any cares about people, all of that is a full-on lie. All of it. And it's the level, I hope I'm not the first person that's ripping Band-Aids off. But what I'm gonna say is that whichever rabbit hole that y'all choose to go down, just go slowly and give yourself opportunities to stabilize yourself in between. Because when you really get to understanding what the United States has done, is doing, and plans to do, it's not good at all. At all. Not even a little bit. The only people, interestingly enough, that is going to be good for are the billionaires. And everybody else is going to be suffering. But again, propaganda has allowed them to be able to convince poor whites and uneducated whites that they are better aligned with billionaires who are going to fucking Mars and shit. The level of money, we don't even have the ability to conceptualize 1 billion. We barely have the ability to conceptualize 1 million. But a billion is 1,000 millions. We don't have any type of understanding of what it looks like to have that type of access and power. So what the hell would make you think that they would give a flying fuck about you? When we barely, the freaking median income for people in the United States is $57,000 a year. That's the median. So that means that half the country is underneath that. So it's they have done a great job with what they do. The US is good. They're good at what they do. They're good at the way that they turn people against each other. They're good at the way that they shirk accountability. They're good at the way that they colonize. They're good at the way that they make imprints across the world. They're good at what they put out to the rest of the world as far as who the US is as a country. They're really good. They're really good at what they do. And we have to accept who the US actually is. We have to look for independent journalists and look for people. I heard, I was about to say that's why they don't want TikTok, but I heard they extended it one more game. They're going to keep playing this stupid ass game so they could be the hero at some point. And also tinkering shit on the back end, I'm certain, with the algorithm and trying to figure out stuff and negotiating this and that and putting pressure on China and all that. The level of global realignment that is happening right now is mind-blowing. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. You have other countries that are like forming alliances with each other just so that they don't do business with the United States. Like that's how severe it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on. So I feel like our main responsibility is to practice radical acceptance. I've been saying that for a while. Just we have to accept what is actually happening. And then our next job is to think about how we insulate ourselves and how do we position ourselves to be divorced as much as possible from this system that is designed to keep us in bondage. Like I remember before I sold my house, everybody was like, just keep it and rent it out and like just keep it and rent it out. And I was like, I'm over this. Did it, done it, great, got it, got a t-shirt, had 10 good years. I'm over this. I don't want to do this anymore, right? But the more that I started like moving further and further out and finally leaving the country, there's a level of freedom to not having to manage and worry about all these things that are quote unquote back home. You know what I mean? Like I have the ability to be able to be like, file bankruptcy and let all that shit burn. Like, I guess I'll be a whole new person. Like, it's fine. Y'all can have it. Because I had already released all of the weights that were holding me there. A car, a house, like all of that is weights, making you feel like you have to be there. You have to be tied to that place. We do not need those things. That is not necessary for us to be able to live the lives that we deserve. But the way that the country is set up is like continuing to buy things. Like I know that it's a lot of influencers' jobs to have these lifestyles or whatever, but I am growing so weary. I'm growing so weary of seeing people, doing luxury deals and flaunting luxury and talking about like all this frivolous spending and things and materialism and like all of that. This is not the time to be doing that. This is not the time to be doing that. They're taking our rights away, health care, access to all sorts of social services. You gonna need that money. You're going to need that money to be able to take care of yourself. You do not need a new Birkin bag. You do not need things. That is not about to help you in this country that is fastly plummeting. Like that's not going to help you. And it just be making me so frustrated because I'm like, the machine is working. Consumerism. It's working. We coming up on the holiday season. Oh my gosh, it's working. When what I would want somebody to get for me for the holiday is connect me to somebody who got a certain skill set that I need. Give me some recipes, give me a tomato plant. Like give me something that's going to help me to sustain myself. I don't need more shit. So we got work to do. We really do.
Yeah, we do. Well, I think it's a great time to do the intro.
So what up, y'all? Welcome to Life Unfiltered, Heal That Shit, where we are taking everything we learned in 2024 and amplifying it for a new year of transformation. This is no longer just a podcast, all right? This is a revolution in healing. So whether you're a longtime listener, this is your very first episode, get ready for some life-changing conversation.
We've learned something powerful over the past year. When we share our truth, we give others permission to do the same. We've created the space for the truth seekers, the change agents, and anyone ready to do the work. Because let's be honest, real change happens when we stop hiding and start healing.
So whether you are here to work through your own journey or learn from ours, you are in the right place. We're about to get real, get deep, and most importantly, get results.
So let's buckle up, strap in, grab your favorite drink, and let's heal this shit together.
So my name is Kimberland. I am an educational advocate, activist, and consultant. I am a scientist, a biologist specifically. I'm a visionary and motivational speaker, as well as a virtual producer and network executive. I am the founder of Minding My Black Ass Business, as well as Intuitive Melanated Life Coaching, where I help people deepen their relationship with God to understand their unique design and purpose in order to positively impact the world. I'm a professional frolicker and I currently live in Medellin, Colombia. I left the US in October of 2021, coming up on the 4-year anniversary of that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I made that decision for myself and to save my life and to be able to have a space where I'm able to heal. And I am also a podcaster across multiple platforms and such. And I'm one of your hosts. So what up, y'all?
Yes, indeed. My name is Bianca Goolsby. I am a digital strategist, a consultant, an education activist, and a certified snitch.
Snitch.
Yes, indeed. I'm an investigator and a receipt collector, so you better put some respect on my name around here, because I'm on it. And I'm the founder of Teaching for the Culture, where we transform, we empower, we advocate, we coach, and we heal. I'm also an intuitive melanated life coach and a digital nomad currently working and traveling wherever there is Wi-Fi. And I'm out here in these streets, baby, and I'm thankful for it. My purpose is to empower others to find their own path to freedom and fulfillment. And I'm so glad that you are here. So in this space here, all right, we operate by 3 keys. That is accountability, transparency, and integrity. It's very, very important. And before we go further, we want to make sure that we are clear about expectations, what you can expect from us and what we expect from you. What you can expect from us to honor the 3 keys. We're going to keep it real. We're going to speak freely and we're going to cuss if and when we feel like it. So if you have little listeners, you might want to have some headphones, some AirPods, or maybe not. That's your business. But we're going to talk freely in this space and what we expect from you. Hate speech, hate comments, and fake news is not welcomed over here, okay? We proudly serve on the Block and Be Blessed ministry. Amen. So we want you to engage with intention or get escorted to the block pew. We want you to go on this journey with us. We're not the experts, but we are facilitating these important conversations. And we want you to participate in this journey and bring people with you because together we are committed to doing the work to heal. So what updates you got?
So, first, I want to let you know how to interact with us. It's important to us that we know who is a part of our community. So, we do that through emojis. It's our way to be able to give love, but also for it to feel accessible. In case you don't know what else to say, you can always drop us an emoji. So, our collective emoji is the heart with a bandage wrapped around it. That is for our Heal That Shit universe. So, if you share that emoji, then we know that you from up over here, okay? And then we also have individual emojis. So my emojis are the sunflower and the crayon. The sunflower because yellow is my favorite color. It reminds me of the sun. It reminds me of happiness. And sunflowers are also the symbol for invisible disabilities. So as someone who is late diagnosed neurodivergent and a host of other alphabets and acronyms that I now have behind my name and my understanding, I am very aware of the types of situations that we wind up in and how the world is not really made for neurodivergent people. So I'm becoming more and more of an activist in that area. And then the crayon, because it was a time in my life where everything was very black and white. And I made a conscious decision to color the fuck out of my life and to make sure that I infuse my life with joy at a soul level. So those are my emojis. Go ahead and tell them about yours.
Yes, indeed. So as you know, or maybe you don't, you're going to learn today, teddy bear. You see it? Okay. I'm in my teddy bear snuggie, my armor of God, and I am here with the background of heaven. Okay. I'm just here to just be that teddy bear, to give love, show love, because love is the highest frequency. Amen. Also with the bears, you could have a grizzly. So be careful when you poke it. Okay. And the hands that form the heart. Okay. Let me tell you, the journey with my heart, my pacemaker, something very serious and sincere to me. And I always want to uplift protecting your peace, taking care of your body, taking care of your heart. And so the hands that form the heart is a representation of loving out here, protecting you, because there's only one you. You're one of a kind, uniquely made. And yeah, we're going to have a very good time today. Yes, indeed.
So one last thing, reminding you all that if you are listening, that you are able to watch us over on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, you're able to listen to us over on all the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also go to our website, wehealthatshit.com, and then connect with us at Heal That Shit on all social platforms. All right, so let's get into our spirit check for today. And we've been checking spirits the whole time, I feel like. But we want to always be intentional with making sure that we create space and time for an opportunity to check our spirits. So the way that this works is we have 4 colors that are displayed here on the screen. I'm also going to read these out if you are listening and not watching. So green stands for I'm absolutely wonderful. Life is great. Blue, I'm good. I don't have any complaints. Purple, I'm okay. Things could be better. And yellow, I'm not doing so well. I need support. So you can have any combination of these colors, and we're going to model what that looks like and sounds like in just a moment. And, you can use gradients, polka dots, plaid, whatever suits your fancy. So please do share with us in the comments, whether you're watching this with us during the live premiere, whether you are here with us as we're recording this, or if you're watching in the replay. Let us know how your spirit is feeling according to this gradient. Again, green, I'm absolutely wonderful. Life is great. Blue, I'm good. I don't have any complaints. Purple, I'm okay. Things could be better. And yellow, I'm not doing so well. I need support. So it is my turn to start. All right. So, I definitely feel like at the core of my heart, it's kind of staying the same. I've had this green, bright green center that has been really bright and sparkly and shiny. I feel like it is still there. This morning during the Frolicking Truth, I was talking about how I feel like I have moved out of the survival state of my brain and into my my upper brain, where I'm able to be creative and plan and execute and just kind of not feel like life is so heavy. So that continues to be the case. And every day it feels like things align more and more for me. So that is, that's a good place to be. Outside of that green, I would say is that gradients of the blue and purple. And now I would even add the yellow around the outside. It is a lot that is going on in this world, and it is really blowing my socks off. Even though I like, nothing that is happening is necessarily a surprise to me per se, but you always kind of have this like, okay, maybe we'll have, some downtime, or maybe things won't be so bad, or maybe somebody will do something, do something, John. However, that is not happening. So it is like not the rationalization, but the counting of both of those sides and like making space for all of that. So at the core of me, absolutely wonderful. Life is great. The further out that I move from my internal world into the external world is where it starts to get more and more support that is needed. So that's where I am.
Yes, indeed. I resonate with that deeply. For me, I want you to visualize a ink blot type of painting where there's different splashes of paint in different areas. And with that, all of the colors are represented in the heart, in this spirit check. Some spots are bigger than others. So the blue is much bigger than the green. the yellow is not as big, but it does leave a mark. And it's just this pattern of just different ink blots just around. And it feels very scattered. So I think in the midst of all the different things that are going on, I do feel scattered in my spirit. Like if I focus in on the green ink blot, I can stay in that space and be great. But then when I think about things, then I can navigate and go to a whole nother section of the heart where I'm like, whoa, okay, that's yellow. I'm not doing so well here. I do need support. It's a lot. So it's not even something that is something continuous. It's just splotches everywhere with no type of pattern or anything.
Interesting. That and a very good visual. I can definitely see that for sure. Yeah, wow. So, where you want to dig in? What's happening? Tell us the things. Let's get some transparency out here.
Let me deep breathe before I go into it. So I do recognize that I need to have an information content detox. I've been consuming a lot of information, and folks have had access to me to ask me questions that I want to be able to help them, but also at the same time, I'm still out here trying to help myself. Is to your point earlier, it's not that I'm surprised. It's just a mere fact that I'm reading about this body that's hanging at Delta State University and how without any formal autopsy, they've ruled it that there was no foul play and that they've ruled it a suicide. And let's just say that it was a suicide. That's traumatic enough that this young man decided that he wanted to hang himself from a tree out of all places. To then see the conversations about that, where it's clear that there's no same feeling or remorse of someone being assassinated on campus versus someone that might actually be lynched on a school campus. And just doing research and reading and seeing it that was a lot. That was hard. I broke down during a part of my episode today, and the question was, where can our children be safe at? Where? Like, forget these adults that are going back and forth, because that's going to be a thing. But I'm thinking about our children who feel like in some cases they have no place to go. Home is not a safe space for them. School is not a safe space for them. Well, where do they go? Guess what? They retreat and they are on social media. They are on their phones. They are on the internet in spaces where it seems like it's safe for them and it's not. So then what? Then with a conversation about church and Christianity and the values and the principle, like when I tell you, I've had to sit there in stillness and be like, God, hey bro, let me holler at you for a minute. 'Cause I'm seeing these things that people are saying online that these folks are representing you, but I don't agree that they represent your principles. And I'm having a hard time. It's making me question my own walk with you, God, because seeing what is happening out here. And while I should be solid in my own walk and not allow other people in the way that they act and they demonstrate God's love, should alter my walk with God. The reality and the truth is I am impacted. I am severely impacted, where I am glitching every time I hear man of God, woman of God, person of God, when I'm like, but this is what they was quoted saying, and that's not of God. Or they took over $850,000 of paycheck protection loan money in the name of a church, and they still out here not being held accountable. God help me. Maybe there's something wrong with me, God. Is there something wrong with me? Can we have a conversation and tell me? Because I'm confused. And then having to sit and hear God after I've done all the ranting, to say that I need to continue to be on my walk and journey, and I need to focus on my own path. But at the same time, so frustrated and bothered by the way that folks walk out here claiming things as though they were, and it is harming people along the way. And just the way that my brain people work, injustice don't sit right with me. When I see someone that's harmed, I'm not the person to be quiet about it. I've told people from jump, I am a snitch. I've been saying that for a long time, before MSGA even became a thing. Make snitching great again, baby. This podcast is sponsored by Make Snitching Great Again. MSGA, baby. Enough is enough. And it's time for accountability, transparency, and integrity. It's time to snitch. Save 11% by using coupon code HEALTHATSHIT. Visit us online by visiting snitchwithus.org. I've been saying, if you don't want your bad deeds and stuff to be out in the streets, don't do it around me, because I'm going to tell it.
Facts. Same.
So it has been an interesting time from the last time that we've done this episode, with all the different media hits and me talking about my relationship with my phone and social media and having access to the internet. It really just reinforced that I need to continue with my path of having these intentional digital detoxes and limiting information consumption, because it does alter my peace and my spirit and my mental health. And that is something that I wanted to uplift today. So on Mornings and Allegations, I shared ways and strategies on how to protect your peace. I've written about that in magazine articles, and I talked about it on the show today, because when I tell you, I literally had to decompress. After the episode, I went and walked a mile and got me some sun, because I needed to get away from the computer, get away from the phone, get away from just all of the stuff that can draw you in, pull you in, and change your emotions and mood. And I'm tired of it. I am tired of allowing the news and the way that people interact online to dictate how I'm going to move that day. And that was something that I had to take the realization and be accountable of, like, you need to step back. Some battles is not yours to fight. And multiple things can be true at the same time. So allow them to be them. Let them. Continue focusing on what you need to do. Because in all of that, there was things I was so hyper focused on that I didn't get done, that I needed to get done. So there's just been a lot. Outside of that, it's been great, girl. I've been out here eating and loving and just really enjoying this new country. It's expensive though. Like, we did a calculation on food, girl, and the prices and the difference of what we spent in Peru versus here, girl. It's something to see. But outside of that, like, just having peace, like being able to wake up to peace, going out and blowing bubbles on the patio, just it's a vibe. Being able to rebuild this business and being able to impact folks, I'm grateful. But when I tell you, this media and this stuff that's happening, in these streets, it can't consume me. I won't let it. I refuse. Hell no. It's too much going on. But I do wonder though, for the folks that's claiming God and is not showing God's, like, how will they end up being held accountable at the end of the day? Because I don't really see many pastors standing up when they die and be like, and we know that they going to hell. I've never seen it but a skit. So I just got some questions as to how this all gonna work out
Well, that's
at
for
the
God to
end.
worry about. That again, that's where we need to worry about our own walk and make sure that we get to where we need to go. And that's for God to worry about what to do with them. Honey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. So I give that right back. Have you thought about having a phone fast day?
Oh, that sounds good. I haven't considered it until you said something. And then when you said it, I was like, I could see Monday being the day because it's brand day and I kind of limit, notifications, but it's not like it's off or I'm not accessible. If someone wanted to reach me, they could, but I can definitely see how I can infuse brand day and letting that be like a detox day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would be really helpful. I know my No Talk Tuesdays are. I don't think I would be good if I did not have them, because it really just gives you a moment to be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not available for anybody else's energy. I am going to do what I want to do, and I'm gonna let my brain kind of rest from all the things. So, I just wanted to uplift that because I definitely understand the struggle. And your inbox be flooded with stuff. I don't do that. Don't send me nothing at all. And if you do, I'm not opening it right now today because I have an issue with people sending me things blind. I don't know what this is. And then I'm going to open this up and watch this video or listen to this voice message. And I have no idea what you're about to say. I don't like that. Like, that don't feel good to me. Um, so I can only imagine the number of inputs that you get because people do be in your inbox. And, we've talked about this many times of how you are going to protect your peace in the middle of advocacy and what that looks like and sounds like, because you cannot lose yourself in everything that is happening. You just cannot do that. So I'm curious if you've put any additional thought towards what that looks like.
Yeah, so as far as Meta, Facebook in particular, so I've started to make some different changes to the actual page to where I'm going to be strictly using the Postly, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's a content scheduler. So it schedules content out and it pushes things out. So I'm going to be using that, and I will be having my inboxes imported to someone else that will be responsible for reading my inbox and forwarding me things as see fit. The goal is to have some type of automation in place. So one of the tools that I was looking into is called MiniChat. And MiniChat has an option to where it has an autoresponder based on what is said in the message. So usually I can set an autoresponder of saying, thank you for sending your message. This is a unmonitored box. If you would need support in these type of areas, these are the appropriate links to where you can get access to it, because it's not even just advocacy. I'm getting hit up of like, hey, Bianca, I need a logo. You got me? And so like that is like, okay, this is the appropriate channel to reach out to me for that. Or if it's, hey, my child is being bullied, I need resources, I need help. Okay, well, this is where you can go for teaching for the culture. There's a mix of different things that are happening in my inbox. So having MiniChat be one of the tools in place to help with the automation, but then also taking me out of it has been one of the strategies and the things I've been doing. So Facebook has been an interesting platform for me because it's my favorite. I prefer it. And I've used that mainly for communications, but I've started to go out into different networks and to form different followings in different communities, such as TikTok, and getting back integrated with Instagram. So I want to be able to have these different spaces, but also at the same time, I don't necessarily want all of the messages to flow. So mini chat is the tool that will help with the automation of that and taking me out of it. But yes, to your point, my inbox be swinging and been swinging a lot more now in comparison to 2020, which 2020 was wild. So I say all that to say that I see a light to the end of this tunnel. I also recognize where my limits are, so I know not to cross it, you know. And I also have been uplifting when people send me stuff. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the space. Thank you so much for reaching out. But now that there's going to be an automated message now to where I don't even have to say it, the mini chat, the tool is going to be able to do it.
Yeah. That's going to make a huge difference. So I'm glad to hear that. And then you mentioned, y'all keep saying how expensive it is there. Would you say that it has doubled, or like can you quantify what that looks like, the difference between Peru versus Uruguay?
So we did just food calculation on food that was ordered and going to the grocery store in Peru. So just giving some quick ball figures here. So Peru probably would have spent in a month around $1,100, and that was for the month. We've spent that here in about 2 weeks.
So it is about double. Interesting. So what do you do with that? Like, now that y'all have that information, how does that alter decisions, or what do you do with that information?
So for me, I enjoy it here. I like it, but there's some things that I wish was more accessible. For example, in Colombia, was able to order things from Amazon, and I know, divesting from Amazon and not being reliant upon that, but there are some essential things that are needed and necessary for you to have access to it. That's not like here. None of that. We can barely get the food delivery service at times to come and bring food. So just even that, we've been cooking more than eating out because of the different offerings that they have in comparison to Peru or Colombia. So that's something of just like, it's cute, but thinking about long-term stability and how we want to live, how I want to live, right? I don't see it. Like I don't see it. I see this being a great vacation spot. I see it being somewhere to go visit. Another practical example. So the Airbnb that we're staying at right now, it's almost like $1,400 a month.
And is that 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms? What are the...
Excellent question. So the listing says that it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Now, the floor plan and what I'm looking at, it's 1 bedroom, a bed with a wall that they've kind of made it seem like it's 2 bedrooms, but it's actually 1 bedroom, and then 1 bath. So there's no 2 bedrooms where everything is enclosed with 4 walls, a closet, and a door. If we were to come back and stay for another 90 days, this same listing would be $7,000 a month.
Whoa. For a 1 bedroom?
Yes.
Jesus.
$7,000. Yeah, it's like $6,953 or something. Yeah, $7,000 for the exact same listing, the exact same place, the exact same host, everything, the same listing, $7,000. And so asking chat, being like, "Hey, bruh, so why? Help me understand." So they were saying that a lot of people come here, and it's a lot of back and forth where people will come here for the beaches, for the weather, and it's still kind of wintertime. That's kind of shifting seasons, but that's like their peak activity. We met a Black couple at the grocery store, and they had shared that in January, the whole street would be just full of people. And I'm like, I'm trying to get away from people. So I don't necessarily think that that's something that I want to participate in or to be in. And definitely not here where the listing is $7,000.
Right.
So it has been a blessing to be able to have these different experiences, to be able to document them, to write it down, and to educate folks as they're doing their own exploring on what does peace look like, as you would say, finding peace abroad. What does that look like, and what places and areas are going to be best suited, and finding that place and navigating. I wouldn't have known this had I not gotten here to see for myself. Only YouTube videos can only show you so much, and I've watched plenty of them. So outside of the food cost and like the property changing prices in different seasons, the people are friendly here. It's a quiet, nice vibe. Again, I'm really intrigued on what peak season looks like and how it's described. It sounds like a Miami beach, like
Yeah,
I
it
don't
sounds like
necessarily.
night and day.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know how I am set up for that, if that's something that I want. I definitely want peace, seclusion, with access to water. Those things are important to me, but having a whole bunch of people in and out and just noise and I'm good on the noise pollution for a minute. I'm really good on that. But it's been an interesting experience.
I think them honking horns in Peru did you in.
It did. It really did.
Are horns like the thing for you? For me, it's construction. So are horns like a thing for you?
It gotta be, because ever since then, it's been I've been hyper focused. I heard a horn the other day, and I literally was like, just turned my head. Haven't heard it in some time, and I was like, oh, I hope y'all ain't trying to pick up and do that here. Like that was like my first reaction. So I don't know what it is. Pray for me, girl. Pray. But maybe that did me in. I don't know, but I'm hypersensitive to horns now. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be in the car and they honking their horn. I don't want it. I don't want it.
It's funny just because you never really know like what the things are that are your like pet peeves or like a sticking point for you until you're in that situation, and then you're like, oh no. Oh, we cannot do this. So yeah, it's definitely, horns don't actually bother me very much. I notice them, but they're not like relentless, like construction. That is the thing for me. But no, I think it's really cool that you all are getting these experiences. I think that's wild, the way that high season versus low season. I kind of experienced something like that in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is also one of the reasons why I left, because things were like tripling in price, and it was like, I don't like this place enough to have to do that, like, at all. And it's also a blessing to have the flexibility to be able to try somewhere else. It's a privilege to be able to do that. So it's cool that you're doing that, and then also doing the work to document it for others who are wondering, so that they do have a real account. Because a lot of times, people give these fanciful accounts. There's been a real big pickup in people who are wanting to leave, of course. And I just want to say, because you mentioned finding peace abroad, before we get out of here, I just want to say that you have to be really, really careful about who you use to facilitate your exit. And a lot of the people that have big names also have very shaky and shady practices. So I've been in spaces with these people, and I've heard these people talk about why they help people. One of the people that is really big, I don't remember what her what her organization is called, but her name is Amber. And I ran across her in Mexico City, and she was celebrating all of the destruction that Ron DeSantis was doing in Florida because it helped to run her numbers up, and she was able to capitalize off of that. So she was like, I hope he keep doing what he's doing, because then that just means more money for me. In my humble opinion, that's not the kind of person that you want to have aligned with you in doing your exit. I will also speak to having met Rashida, who is a big content creator in Mexico City. And she also has, in partnership with some other ladies, a summit that they do to help people to leave. I have also experienced them in real life, and they are not kind people. They're very arrogant, and they really like to flaunt the types of things that they have. They have a colonizing spirit where they are looking to come up on the backs of people in different countries. So I need us to do our research. And that's not saying, that don't mean that I align with you either. You might be like, I don't like that you're talking about these people. And that's fair. Okay, no problem. And also, I think it's important to talk about this, because everybody who's quote unquote helping people to leave is not doing it with the right motives. I don't do what I do for money. And that's also why I don't talk about it all the time either, because it's not a business thing for me. It's, I can help you if you want help, and I'm also going to do that ethically. So if you're not looking for that, I'm not the person for you. And that's okay. But if you are, I can help you. And that is how I advertise what I do. So anyway, I just want you all to be careful if you are looking to get out, or looking to see what it's like to be a digital nomad, or looking to relocate. Be really, really conscious of the people that you use, and pay attention to your own discernment for how someone's energy shows up, and whether that's somebody that you can feel aligned with. And so, yeah, I've come across a lot of people. I don't always talk about it, and I always don't let it be known. But I've been in spaces with a lot of the folks who are really big influencers. And yeah, it's interesting to be in those rooms and in those conversations. So, having said that, we're going to get ready to transition out of here. I have teachers all night, and I don't know what they're going to be saying, child, because the world is crazy right now. So I got to prep myself to receive some energy, some unknown energy, because I really don't know what has been happening. But I'll definitely be ready to report what I am hearing from the teachers across the U.S. from my lens and the things that they are saying. So that's something I can definitely uplift next time. So having said that, tell the people where they can find you, please, after this.
Yes, indeed. You can find me on my website at www.biancagoolsby.com. There you can see my ventures and all the things that I'm doing. Okay? Check me out. Google me. Where they can find you, girl?
And y'all can find me at kimberlandjackson.com. That's KIMBERLAND Jackson.com. All of the links are there. I have gone over to the TikToks, so you can find me over there on the TikToks as well. I'm preparing to bust up on the scene and say some things, so we'll see what that looks like. It sounds like. And then also, please do connect with Minding My Black Ass Business. We have some exciting things that are happening in the Minding My Black Ass Business universe, new podcasts that are coming. So definitely, I'm really excited about that.
Expansion,
so
girl.
Go check us out. Yeah, for real. So go check us out over there at Minding My Black Ass Business. And other than that, we'll be back in 2 weeks. A reminder that if you go to wehealthatshit.com, that you are able to get access to our book list and past episodes and our mailing list. So that's a way for you to be able to stay connected to us. All right. So until next time, we'll holla at y'all. You feel me? Bye.
Heal that shit, don't hold